For what feels like a long time, the AI world has kind of felt like a one-horse race. But now, Google has finally officially stepped into the ring. Today, we're going to break down their big answer to the AI giants, a really powerful new challenger called Gemini. So, let's see what this is all about. And that right there is the million-dollar question for this whole explainer, isn't it? For every developer, every creator, anyone building stuff with AI, the question is, does the reigning champ, ChatGPT, finally have a real legitimate contender? Well, Google's answer is a very clear, very loud yes, and they're calling it Gemini. And look, this isn't just another model. It's a whole family of models that's really designed to compete on every single front. So what in the world is Gemini, really? The most important word you need to know here is multimodal. Just think of it like an AI that has more than one sense. It can process all different kinds of information at the same time. We're talking text, of course, but also images, audio, even video. That ability is its secret sauce. But, to really get why Gemini is such a big deal, we've got to take a step back and look at the world it was born into. What was the big problem that a new player like Gemini was even needed to solve? Before Gemini showed up, if you were a developer, you were facing some pretty big hurdles. Getting API access was often super expensive, which just killed experimentation. Almost everything was just text in, text out. You had one company pretty much controlling the whole scene, and if you were a Google user, well, there was no easy way to plug all this cool AI into the tools you use every single day. And this is exactly where Gemini makes its grand entrance. It looks at all those problems and tackles them head-on with two absolute killer features that honestly change the entire game. This quote right here, it just perfectly captures that first big feature. Gemini isn't just about making a smarter chatbot. It's about giving AI something like senses, a way to perceive the world more like a human does. Let's try a simple analogy to make this super clear. Think of ChatGPT as a genius you're talking to, but they're blindfolded. You type in text, you get brilliant text back. It's amazing. But Gemini is like talking to someone who can actually see and hear and watch what's going on while they talk to you. You can show it things, and it gets it. So let's see how this actually works. Imagine a study app, right? A student is totally stuck on a math problem. So they just pull out their phone, snap a photo of the textbook. They upload it, and Gemini doesn't just see a picture. It actually sees the equation. It understands the math behind it, and then it writes out a perfect step-by-step explanation. That's multimodality right there in action. Okay, now for that second killer feature. And it all starts with this number, 60. Just 60. What could that possibly be? That's the number of API calls you can make every single minute completely for free. This is huge. I mean, it absolutely demolishes the cost barrier that stopped so many developers and small startups from even trying to build cool AI tools. All right, so we have an AI that can see in a free tier that's just insane. But how does Gemini actually stack up when you put it side by side with the other heavyweights? It's time for a little head-to-head showdown. This is the question, right? This is what every developer is wondering. It's one thing to have awesome features on paper, but can it actually compete where it counts? So how does it really measure up? Okay, check out this table. It tells a really interesting story. First, that free tier, 60 requests a minute. That just dwarfs what ChatGPT and Claude offer. Then you've got multimodality. See how it says native? That's key. It was built from the ground up to see and hear. It's not just some add-on. And, of course, for anyone already in the Google ecosystem, that integration is a massive, massive advantage. So, with all of this info, the next logical question for you is Gemini the right tool for your project? When should you jump on it, and when might another AI actually be a better fit? You should absolutely reach for Gemini if your project is doing anything multimodal. Analyzing images, videos, sound, anything beyond just text. It is the clear winner for just trying stuff out and prototyping, all thanks to that free tier. And, of course, if you're building on Google Cloud or you expect a ton of traffic, it's a total no-brainer. But let's be fair, it isn't always the perfect tool for every single job. If your project totally depends on that huge, mature plugin ecosystem that's grown up around ChatGPT, you might want to stick with what you know. And if your main goal is to analyze something massive, like a whole book, Claude's probably still the king for that. And honestly, the best part is just how easy it is to try for yourself.
You can be up and running in literally minutes. Just head over to ai.google.dev, grab a free API key, install the library for whatever programming language you like, and boom, you can start making those 60 free calls a minute. Seriously, I recommend you start by just sending in a picture to see the magic happen.
And that really brings us to our final thought here. For the very first time, we have a top-tier AI model that can not just talk, but can see and understand the world, with an API that is pretty much free for most people to build and experiment with. So the real question isn't just about which model is better today. The real question is, what incredible, unbelievable things are going to be built tomorrow?